That's my hope anyway. We need some hope. Okay, so apologies. We've got apologies from Mayor Joanne Anderson today, so I'm stepping in for the Mayor. But we need to welcome two people to the Cabinet meeting today. So welcome to Jackie McKinley, who's I was going to say our new Chief Operating Officer, but you are the new, as in new post as well. So welcome to you, Jackie. And also Daniel Fenwick. I know you've been here virtually, but you are here in reality, aren't you? So Daniel is our new City Solicitor and Monitoring Officer. So welcome to both of you today. Okay, any declarations of interests? Nope. Minutes of the last Cabinet meeting, which was held on the 17th of December. Can I move that we approve the minutes of the last meeting? Is that agreed? Lovely. Mayoral Reports, item 3, there are no Mayoral Reports today, so we'll move on to the next item of business, which is item 4, and these are all the Mayoral Recommendations. So we have 7 public recommendations today to consider. So the first one, for A, is Liverpool Net Zero Carbon 2030, the Climate Challenge. Really, really important, this one obviously, well they all are, but this particularly. With the climate emergency that we're in. So this recommendation sets out a detailed analysis of the types of actions necessary to deliver our net carbon target for 2030, detailing our ambition across waste, across transport, buildings, energy, green infrastructure, biodiversity and a low carbon economy. So Councillor Barrington, would you like to say a few words on this one?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Reducing carbon emissions to net zero across all of our activities is now essential to combat the threat of accelerating climate change on our planet. To become a 2030 net zero city, Liverpool needs to address several key challenges across 4 major themes, which are buildings, energy, transport and waste. The proximity of the 2030 target means that actions taken must be using proven technologies and solutions. The key challenges and approaches to tackling them are detailed in the plan. Cleaner, greener, new transport routes will provide better access to jobs. Cleaner, greener homes will help reduce fuel poverty. Energy efficient buildings will save businesses costs on energy. Reduced road traffic brings additional local health benefits from reduced air pollution. Our green spaces will help not only reduce carbon but support people's health and well-being. New jobs will be created by investing in a low carbon economy. We will help people reskill as jobs change from fossil fuel based jobs. The Net Zero Plan has been developed by Eunomia Research and Consulting Limited and the Centre for Sustainable Energy for Liverpool City Council as the lead organisation for the city, but the council only has direct control over a very small amount of the city's emissions, around 1%. To be successful, this plan needs to be the foundation of citywide action, and as such it has been designed as the foundation for collaboration by people, businesses and organisations across the city. That's why it's vital that we now formally endorse this plan and use it as a starting point to accelerate all our actions and to engage with people right across the city and demonstrate leadership on this important agenda. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Barrington. Anybody else wants to say something? Councillor Doyle.
Thanks, Deputy Mayor. Just a quick comment from me. It's a comprehensive report and really well thought out as well. And obviously much needed. I think what I wanted to say was, people will look to Liverpool once this, is agreed and for direction, particularly in the document it talks about collaboration, as Dan's just mentioned. We can't do this alone. We've got to do it with our partners across the city region, but also across the core cities as well. And I think it's important to note as well that this is a costly agenda, and in the scale, at the moment we're going through the budget consultations. We know that the council is extremely going through a difficult time in terms of budget, government has got to act on the climate agenda. We can't do it alone. As Dan just mentioned, 1%, we control 1% of our emissions as a council here. It's going to take a lot of personal change to behaviour as well for people across the city, and our people need support as well from government to do that. We look at examples like heat pumps that mentioned in the document, very expensive for the average person here in the city, and electrification of vehicles, for example, again, an expensive thing for people to do. So obviously the plan is fantastic, it's well thought out, it's something for us to work upon now with clear set goals. But another clear call to government that they've got to act, and time for words are over now. It is time for action.
Thank you, Councillor Doyle. Anybody else want to make a comment? Just to say, brilliant plan. Thanks for all your work on this, Councillor Barrington, and all the officers as well. And as you say, it links directly into our city plan, as well as obviously the region, the LCR. The Green New Deal, the government need to pull their finger out on that one and actually make that happen. This is a crucial agenda. Just thinking about my little grandchild who I saw over Christmas, this is his world, it's our world now, but it's also looking at the other countries in the world and seeing the devastation that us in this country and others are having on those other countries is just mind-blowing. So thanks very much for this, and we'll do all we can to pull this together. It also directly links up, as we know, with the medium-term financial strategy that we're reviewing as we're going through with part of the budget consultation. Thanks very much. Okay, so are we happy with that one? All in agreement?
Agreed.
Agreed. Lovely. Okay, so we're now on to 4B, which is the award of service contract for engineering inspection services to risk management partners. So this one seeks approval to award a contract for engineering inspection services following the completion of a competitive procurement exercise. Are the recommendations set out in the report agreed? Agreed, thank you very much. We're now on to 4C. So this is the provision of outgoing retail business, as it's called, first and second class mail services. And this recommendation seeks approval to enter into what we call a perpetual licence with the Royal Mail retail business, first and second class mail. It sounds boring, this, but it's really important we bring all of these to Cabinet so people can see actually the structure that we go through, that things go out to tender, that it's all above board and all very transparent. So are the agreements, is the recommendation set out in the report agreed? Thank you. Council tax support scheme is 4D. This is a crucial one. As we know, Liverpool has a very fair system with council tax support scheme. Some other councils and local authorities don't, some others do, like ourselves. And this supports people across the city who are struggling to make ends meet, and is a fairer system of doing our council tax. So this recommendation comprises a review of the council's existing council tax support scheme and proposes that this be carried forward unchanged through to 22-23, subject to approval by full council on the 26th of January. The information that we get through on council tax support is also key for us to see how in-work poverty is in the city. Is one of our crucial indicators. So can we endorse the scheme and recommend it to full council for approval? Agreed, thank you. Okay, we're now on to 4E. This is the acceptance of opportunities area pathways funding for NEET in North Liverpool, not in education, employment or training. This recommendation seeks approval to accept an additional £100,000 grant from the Department of Education Opportunities Area Pathways Partnership. So money coming in from the government, which is always welcome. We need a bit more, to put it mildly, but we'll take what we've got. Councillor Logan, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you. It's always positive news to receive extra funding, as you said. This funding will be used to support a reduction in the number of young people who are not in education, employment or training, focusing on the north of the city through the deployment of targeted youth support workers. Thank you.
Thanks, and it's North End focused, so I'm delighted with that, being councillor for Everton. Thank you, Councillor Lee. Are we all approving that recommendation? Lovely, thank you. Okay, we're now on to 4F, which is another major document, adoption of the Liverpool local plan. If you remember, we had the unitary development plan, which I think was 2002 from memory. Is that right? Yeah. And we haven't had a proper plan in place since then, which is a very long time of waiting. This has been taking a very long time to come through the system. We're nearly there now. So this report seeks our endorsement and recommendation to full council that the final amended Liverpool local plan, including the policies map as identified, be endorsed and adopted. Councillor Sarah Doyle, would you like to say a few words on this one?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. This is a very welcome report which has been in development for many years. The local plan will act as the primary policy tool for the local planning authority for the delivery of sustainable development and support growth of the city. This will help support the creation of sustainable, diverse, healthy and vibrant residential communities and also business areas across the city. We know that the homes we live in and the neighbourhoods we work, travel and socialise in have huge impacts on our health, well-being, as well as the opportunities we have available to us. Our local plan strengthens our approach to ensuring more people live in safe, decent homes within cleaner, greener and vibrant communities. In Liverpool, we want the built environment to benefit local people, encourage active travel and directly improve overall life quality. I want to personally thank everyone who has taken part in the formulation of our local plan. This is a great turning point for our City of Liverpool. I especially want to thank you, Jane Haywood, our Chief Planning Officer, Jane Haywood, Sam Campbell and former officer Mike Eccles. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Doyle. Councillor Thomas, would you like to say a few words as well?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. This is a very welcome plan, and the amount of work that's gone into it has been amazing, and it is, as you have said, taken a very long time. I've had some involvement with it for over 5 years. A very important part of the local plan is the requirement to use inclusive design in the built environment. This will mean improved access for all. In particular, the requirement for 10% of all new homes to be wheelchair accessible and for the rest to be more accessible and adaptable for ease of mobility. This will be a great contribution to independent living and inclusive living for older and disabled people and a great improvement in life generally. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Thomas. It's a huge document. It's massively important to the city. It actually is very crucial for our placemaking as a city, and it covers so many departments right across. So it's a proper cross-portfolio plan. Okay, so this is really crucial that at this point it also goes to, we're recommending today that it goes to full council for final sign-off. However, it's also going for full scrutiny again next week to your select committee, Councillor Doyle, but at the start, so it's the Strategic Development and Housing Committee, but it also links up with yours, Councillor Barrington, as well, doesn't it? And Councillor Kadir's. So that's next Thursday. So anybody watching online, do feel free to watch the scrutiny of that at the start of that meeting, and then it goes to full council. So it's still got some way to go, but we're nearly there. So can I move that we endorse the local plan and recommend it to full council on the 26th of January for approval? Is that agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed.
Thank you. We're now on to 4G, which is the Section 106 Allocations and Governance Subcommittee Recommendations, December 2021. If you remember, all the Section 106 allocations goes through a subcommittee process, which means it's extremely transparent. You can see exactly what's happening. You can then check it against each of the planning agreements that came through and see how it relates to those. It's done by ward. It's looked at the business case for it to see if there's any match funding that can be put in as well. And it has that linked directly up with the local councillors and the communities. Okay, so this recommendation seeks approval to allocate 3.3 million, well 3.05 million of Section 106 contributions, which will go towards a whole range of subjects. Councillor Sarah Doyle, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. The subcommittee reviewed the projects at length at the meeting on the 21st of December. Each proposal is supported by clear plans and will provide an improved recreational and children's play space for the local communities which access them. I know that local councillors are feeling really positive about the subcommittee. They're really happy to see Section 106 being laid out transparently. And I also want to thank Officer Tony Melia, who has been really helpful in creating a Section 106 FAQ and guide so that councillors properly understand the importance of Section 106 and what they can do in the communities with it.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's been great having Tony working through all of this, Tony Melia. It also links directly back into the net zero carbon agenda and also into the city plan and onto the local plan. So it's crucial how that all interlinks. Okay, so other recommendations are set up.
Could I just
Oh, sorry, yes,
yeah,
go on,
sorry.
Councillor Thomas.
Thank you. I was involved in some of this work a few years ago in relation to children's playgrounds. And I pointed out that many children's playgrounds are not accessible at all to disabled children, be they children who perhaps use wheelchairs or autistic children and so on. So it's really pleasing to see in this now that the Inclusive Design Officer will be consulted to ensure that children's playgrounds are now accessible. And there's certainly one in West Derby and Croxteth Hall Park, which is accessible to disabled children who may have mobility issues, and it also has sensory features. So inclusive play is a very important part of this. Thank you.
Yeah, well said. And also for people who are children who are visually impaired, so you've got the colours right and the surfaces right. Thank you to Dave Kelly at Daisy UK in Everton, who does incredible work on this. Yeah, good points made. So the recommendations set out in the report agreed? Agreed. Thank you. We've now got what we call a partially exempt item, which is 12A. So it's one part exempt recommendation. And this means that as only certain appendices to this report are exempt, I propose that we consider the overall report in public. This is on the basis, though, that we accept the exemptions remain in place. Before we do so, do Cabinet members have any questions on the exempt appendices? No, so no questions, in which case we consider the report. So this is on the street lighting LED implementation and energy saving programme, phases 3, 4 and 5. Again, this links back into the previous plans that we've just agreed. So this recommendation seeks approval to increase the amount of investment in the street lighting infrastructure by 1.1 million to up to 10.6, including crucially an interest-free loan of up to 10.1 from Salix Finance Limited. Approval is also sought to award a contract to phases 3, 4 and 5 of the programme. Councillor Barrington, would you like to say a few words on this one?
Again, this recommendation is positive news. It will see the replacement of existing, ageing and inefficient street lighting with modern, reliable equipment that will improve lighting quality whilst also significantly reducing energy consumption and carbon emissions. We estimate that it will save around 2,500 tonnes of CO2 per year. Thank you.
It's always good to hear the details on this as well. That's a lot of tonnage. Okay, the recommendations set out in the report agreed. Lovely, thank you. Mayoral announcements. I'm just going to say something about the Hillsborough law. Many of us will have been watching the programme about Anne Williams and Kevin Williams in Hillsborough all week, which I thought was absolutely incredible. And then yesterday, the documentary as well. I watched it with my husband. It's such a crucial time for not only the city, but also across the country. I'd just like to say thank you a million to Maria Eagle, MP, who's fought so long and hard on the Hillsborough issues. And this is the new Hillsborough law that hopefully will come in. So our city leaders across the region are going to be campaigning on this from today. And the law will help bereaved families and the survivors of tragedy who are enduring the same battles about truth and justice that followed Hillsborough and still need to be resolved on the justice side for so many years now. So it calls for a statutory duty of candour, which actually should have been in place anyway, but we won't go there. But it's really crucial that that's put in place. And that's a new law to be introduced to prevent future injustice. We must ensure that our legal system champions for justice across for everybody rather than hinders it. It's so important, this, and it's great to see Liverpool in the lead on this. So that's just coming in under the merit announcement. So thank you to all of those people that have been involved and all the families. I can think of little John Paul Gilhooly, who was the youngest person there. Okay, he was 10. Thanks very much. I think that's the end of the meeting for today. But just before that, we'd just like to congratulate, where's Claire Mccolgan? Yes, she's hiding. So Claire is our interim strategic director for neighbourhoods, which is a brilliant announcement. So thank you, Claire. You'll be under pressure to deliver. But we know that you will be able to deliver because it crosses so many portfolios. The whole, yes, it's neighbourhoods, but it also links up with everything else as well. So thank you to everybody this morning for attending and for covering.